see him? See him? Whoops.
Return of the Living Dead was released in 1985. It was written and directed by Dan O'Bannon and stars Clu Gulager, James Frank, Don Caffa, Tom Matthews, and Linnea Quigley. It's a comedy / meta horror 80s zombie punk fest. And my guest and I are pumped full of 2,4,5 trioxin and ready to party on this episode of I Love This Movie. And today on the episode, we have returning That Fat Samurai Guy.
What's up, baby? How you doing? Hey, you have a good day at work, all right? Wait, you want me to do what now? You want me to sing? You want me to sing one of your favorite songs? All right, I'll do it really quick. Tonight we'll make love till we die. All right, baby. Oh shit, the camera was on. You were filming.
I know this is happening.
Damn it. What is going on? Lindsay, I have returned.
Yes,
how you doing?
You're back on the channel. I'm good. I'm so glad to have you back, because last time when we talked about Hard Target, we're like, we need to talk about something else, and we came up with Return of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah. And I think, there's 5 billion zombie movies out there that I love, that I enjoy, but I think this is the film. Even my love for Day of the Dead has risen higher recently. But I think this is the movie where this is my default zombie flick. I can watch this zombie flick every day. And it's just my default go-to. So
yes,
like, okay, go-to. Samurai Guy, what's your favorite zombie movie of all time? Return of the Living Dead.
Yes, that's a good one to throw out there.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here to talk about this badassity and hilariosity combined.
Yes. This has always been one of my favorite zombie movies as well, because there's so much fun in it. It has great practical effects. You have Linnea Quigley dancing naked on top of a tomb. I mean, that's probably one of the more memorable scenes. You have one of the best zombies of all time in it. You've got Tarman. So there's a lot to unpack with this movie, and some of the behind the scenes stuff, and just how it influenced the zombie zeitgeist going forward. And we will get into all of that. But first, I want to ask you, when was the first time that you experienced this movie?
Believe it or not, I didn't see it on TV. I saw it on DVD. Probably the first old school DVD release back in the day. And that's when the first time I saw it was me, the missus, and my buddy, little Chris, and we all watched it at the same time, and we were in tears. We were having so much fun. We were howling, instant love, right away. I was like, this is one of the greatest zombie movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is can we watch it again? I even have an action. I should have grabbed it, but I had an action figure of the Tar Man somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I had to represent.
Love the Tar Man.
Yes, I have a sex pillow also of Linnea Quigley, and trash.
That's trash.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I saw this first on TV as a kid, because they would show it like Monster Vision on TNT, or it usually would come on after midnight. Because then they could show the boobs and stuff. They didn't show everything, but they did show the boobs.
Yeah.
But as always, when you're watching something on TV as a kid and you're flipping through channels, you don't always start at the beginning. So the first couple times I saw this, I came in like 3/4 of the way through or half the way through. So I didn't get all the setup and the ties to Night of the Living Dead, the meta horror shit.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
Very clever. Yeah. And we'll talk about that quite a bit. But yeah, I didn't see this film in its entirety until I rented it on VHS. And I completely fell in love with it, from just how gross and icky the zombies are and how funny it is, and the great characters. A lot of great character actors in this film. But I've always thought it was one of the best horror movie or best zombie movies ever, and a great 80s horror movie.
Classic.
Very, very 80s, and a lot of 80s themes going on in this movie.
I just want to party.
Just want to party.
Yeah.
Well, and I love in this movie that that the first thing we see is a disclaimer-ish, this title card that comes up and it says, "The events in this film really happened. All the people are real." It's telling you when this starts, all of this is real. It really happened. And as a kid, you buy into that stuff, you know? You're like, "Oh shit, this actually happened," you know? It's
Yeah.
based on a true story.
It's also extremely rare that you end up loving almost every single character in a zombie movie. Usually your zombie movie or horror movies too, you have your one or two or three you like, or and the rest, you know, you're waiting for them to die.
Yes.
But these, everyone has their own little look, own little personality, you know, and they're so memorable. All of these
Very
characters.
memorable, from their costumes to the things they say and do. And that is a departure, another departure in this film from other zombie movies. Like you said, there isn't the asshole character. There's not the guy that hides the bite or anything like that. There's not a guy who's trying to take charge, and there's no infighting between the characters.
Yeah.
Like you see in you know, Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was very interesting. There's
no oh, my daughter just got bit.
no,
what am I gonna do? And then I
none
can't
of
kill
that.
her. I can't
No.
kill it. No, you know, that kind of.
No, there's none of that. There's a lot of screaming and crying, but it's not about anything like that.
Oh, but you know, there's so many great characters, but I think my two favorite. First of all, rest in peace, Clue.
Yes,
Gallagher
he just passed away recently.
Yeah, rest in peace. Actually, there was a premiere for a horror flick. I forgot. It's Samurai Guy's old. I forgot what movie it was, but it was down in Hollywood. But him and his Clue and his son were there.
Oh, nice.
And everybody was like, "Clue." That's how they everywhere's like, "Clue."
Clue.
He's in the audience, right? I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but it was cool seeing Clue. But Clue's great, but it's perfect because he's like the serious straight guy.
Yes.
And then the complete opposite, my favorite in the movie, besides, you know, Tom Matthews as Freddy, who's my favorite in the movie, but him and James Karen, who plays Frank.
Yes.
Those two, I mean, Frank is like, oh my God, he's so funny. Did you watch the documentary that came out about Return of the Living Dead? Yeah,
it's been several years, but yeah, I did see it when it, like, probably 5 years ago, I think.
Right. And yeah, that's probably when I saw it. It's been a while. But that was a great documentary, but it was so funny hearing all the behind the scenes stories, especially with James. And James knew what kind of movie he was in.
Yes.
So James was so over the top.
He was all in.
And while he was acting, the people on the sides, you know, the producers and everybody watching him act were like, "Is this good?
Is this
like,
good?
What do we do? What is he doing?" But then, well, especially with the director, Dan O'Bannon, yeah. Once he noticed that the people watching were laughing and having fun, he was like, "Okay, that's where we're gonna go with that."
Yes.
And it's just so good.
Oh,
Jesus!
Christ! Oh my God!
How are we gonna kill it? Maybe you can't kill him. Maybe he won't die. Well, then we just gotta destroy it completely until there's nothing left.
Well, and just
Frank, I need you to check it out.
Oh God! Just when Frank and Freddy are in the office and he's telling him, you know, like, "Hey, did you ever see that movie, Night of the Living Dead? It was all true." And
they told the guy who made the movie that if he told the true story, they'd just sue his ass off. So he changed all the facts around.
He's telling him about how the army had the canisters and the shipping department messed up. So all of them got sent to the UNITA medical supply where Freddy is just starting a job. And so he's kind of showing him the ropes and he's like, "You want to see him?" And I just love how he goes,
"See what? The corpses.
The bodies."
Want to see him?
See him?
The corpses.
so silly.
And they just totally just a bunch of buffoons.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oops, crack it open, and that was it. The gas spilled out, and that was it. It was just a matter of time where the dead comes alive.
Hey, these things don't leak, do they?
Leak? Hell no. These things were made by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, fuck! And speaking about Clu Gulager, and before I hopped on here, I was watching an interview with Dan O'Bannon, one of his last interviews that he gave before he passed away. And he's just sitting there in a chair, chain smoking, like he always does in interviews. And they're asking him questions. And evidently Clu was like one of the last people to be cast. So he came in after everyone already had rehearsal time and stuff. And one thing in this film is that, especially when a bunch of the characters are in a scene together, they're just shouting and talking over each other.
Just get the hell out of here, Ernie. You got a car? I got a car. Well, then get your keys and let's get our ass out. Oh, my car just shut off. We'll use a paramedic.
Yeah.
But there's certain lines that they hit to make sure the audience can hear them. But Clu came in cold. So this was hard for him to get. And he said, and Dan O'Bannon said, he wasn't quite sure what kind of movie this was going to be, if it's just going to be a stupid throwaway horror film or if this was going to work or whatever. He was just very, very anxious about that. And him and Dan O'Bannon had go rounds on set, just
Clu and James too, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of behind the scenes tension between a lot of people.
But Clu eventually got it.
Yes, because when Dan O'Bannon wraps up the story, he's like, he came out of the premiere, the cast and crew screening, and he gave me a big hug because he finally saw what I was trying to do. So in the end, it all worked out. All the yelling back and forth, and because Dan O'Bannon said he learned on that set to let people do their jobs.
There you go. I like that. I like
right.
That.
I'm able to delegate.
I'm a little disappointed. Dan really hasn't directed a lot.
No, he directed one other feature film, the Resurrection.
Was it Resurrected or something like that?
Resurrected,
like that,
yeah, with Chris Sarandon. I
have not seen that.
it. Neither have I. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's because it was a direct-to-video film, and I don't know if it made it to DVD or Blu-ray, or if someone picked it up or not.
Yeah.
Because I do know it's hard to find, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll see if I can track down a VHS copy or something.
But he did so good with this. I know, right? You probably already own it, knowing you.
It's probably somewhere on the shelf, and I don't realize I have it.
But yeah, I mean, he did such a great job with this. It's like, dude, keep doing more. But it's all good. It's all good for sure.
Oh yeah, and Dan O'Bannon to me is like a lovable curmudgeon type of guy because he's got a very prickly personality. I mean, there's stories where people would come to his house for auditions and he had like guns laying around and stuff like that. Just handguns laying around.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Hey, you never know when the zombie outbreak might happen, right?
Ever know. But I really like Dan O'Bannon because he had Crohn's disease too, and that's eventually what he passed away from. But he didn't really know it.
Right.
So that's another reason I really like this movie is because he's involved.
Oh, that asshole.
But they slap that barrel and out come the toxins, and then we get our credit sequence. And I love the music in this movie.
I got the soundtrack. I had to buy it right away. I had to buy it. Do the Dead. Yeah, it's too good.
It is really, really good. A nice mix of atmospheric stuff and synth.
Yeah.
Musical instruments, and then the rock and roll music. Do you want to party?
Yeah.
It's such a good song.
It's party time. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. It's so good.
It is really good. Yeah. In this interview, they asked Dan O'Bannon about the soundtrack, and he told a little bit behind the scenes stuff, but then, adding the pop songs and stuff. And one of the producers or something was talking to him about, we got to release a soundtrack. I think a soundtrack will do really well. And Dan O'Bannon was like, I didn't give a shit about a soundtrack. I was trying to make a movie. But
was this the was this your introduction like mine to Linnea Quigley? Like the first time you seen her on screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Yes, it was. And you can't if you watch 80s horror, it's hard to escape her boobs because she shows them a lot. I mean, even I can't remember if it's the Dream Master or the Dream Child. When they have the spirits kind of like coming,
Dream
like
Master.
pushing, is it Dream Master where
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
pushing against Freddy's skin from the inside?
Right.
That's Linnea Quigley in there.
Yeah.
She's the female one.
I didn't know that. I just recently
Yeah.
found that out not too long ago,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
But I saw some behind the scenes footage of them shooting that scene, and you know they're in there and they're writhing, and it's like a giant Freddy, you know.
Yeah.
And it falls over.
Yes. That
with
was
all of them in
nuts.
it.
Head down. Robert, your head down. To your left. Oh!
I was like, how did no one get hurt?
Yeah, I'm glad nobody got destroyed. But yeah, that was a cool fun fact for her, definitely.
Mhm.
But I instantly became a Linnea Quigley fan right away from this movie. Not just because of the looks.
Not just because of the looks.
But I loved the character Trash. My wife verbatim could do her lines perfectly. Do you ever fantasize about being killed? About being eaten alive? Like she could do it just like Trash.
Get that vocal fry in there.
Yeah. It's just so much fun.
Do you ever wonder about all the different ways of dying? You know, violently?
It's such a fun character. And then, of course, the rest is history, Savage Streets and Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, all that fun stuff. But yeah, I'm a fan for life pretty much because of this movie.
Oh yes.
Now was that still her in the zombie makeup?
Yes.
Okay.
That's her. I'm pretty sure that was her.
Okay, because that was fantastic.
Yes, because it had like the elongated jaw and stuff. Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, the practical effects in this are really amazing. I forget the name of the guy who did that. I'll put it here so that the audience knows.
Who replaced the original guy.
Yes, because the first guy I think they used a couple shots of the headless dude that he did, but I saw a picture of like what it actually looked like, and it's not good.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
No, that's not good at all. But
Do you know if the same people who did this movie did the good effects like Tarman and stuff?
Yeah.
Did they do the sequel? Because Tarman didn't look as good as he did in this one.
No, I am not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
It's possible. But yeah, we get Tarman. But my favorite effect in the entire film is the torso.
Oh yeah.
Strapped down with her spine flip-flopping back and forth.
Yeah.
I can feel myself rot.
That part scared the shit out of me as a kid. I was like, how is it talking? It doesn't have lungs.
It makes the pain go away.
How does that make you feel?
It makes the pain go away.
That's the second scene where we get more of the rules and the lore about the zombies that are in this film, because these zombies are very different from Romero zombies.
Oh, I thought this was the first zombie movie where the zombies are straight tackling full speed spirit motherfuckers.
Fast yes, this was, I'm pretty sure, was the first fast zombie.
Okay, there was nothing before this where the zombies ran?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this was the first one. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I was getting a kick out of it, man. They were spear, like
sprinting.
football tackle.
Yes.
Hey! Aja! Don't go over there!
Well, because I mean, we first get a notion that these aren't regular zombies because they're going about what they remember from the movie. That's another thing I love about this film, is that it's so meta horror. And 15 years before Scream did it, You know, they're talking about, well, what they do in the movie? Oh, you destroy the brain and that'll stop it.
Yeah.
So they let that cadaver out, the yellow cadaver, completely naked. And they take the pickaxe to the head, and he's still screaming and struggling. They're like, what now? Cut his head off. So they take a hacksaw, and they're just, it takes a while to get that head off, and it's still moving around. So these are very, very different zombies, and they realize, no, we have to destroy every single piece of them to get it to stop.
Yeah. And then, you know, they're all frustrated. You know, he had Frank go, it worked in the movie. And then Freddy's like, didn't the movie lie? You know,
It worked in the movie. Well, it ain't working now, Frank. You mean the movie lied?
But I love how they were chainsawing the neck and the vocal cord sounds.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, my God. Well, even before that, we get the vivisection dog.
The split dog.
The split dog. And they're beating it with a crutch, and it's like yelping every time they hit it. Oh. And through
I'm gonna start crying.
I know, it's so funny because through that scene, and when they're, you know, trying to incapacitate this cadaver, they're just freaking out. They're falling over stuff. They're screaming and shit's. They're falling into shelves that are getting pushed over. It's just extremely, extremely chaotic.
And brilliant directing too from Dan O'Bannon, like in terms of the comedic effect. Because as soon as he, like, Clue goes all the way over here, like Bert goes all the way out of the way.
Yes.
And they open up the door, and the zombie runs straight
at him.
It's brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Oh Jesus.
Oh Jesus.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, my favorite line. What was it? Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job. Like this job.
Stupid asshole! Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job! Like this job!
Oh my God. So they realize that they've got to figure out some kind of way to destroy every single piece of this. And so this medical facility, this medical supply facility, is right next to the most rundown, deserted, creepy looking cemetery ever. And it's called Resurrection Cemetery.
Get it? Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
And there's a mortuary there where the Clue's character knows the guy that works there. So they're like, we'll take this over there and let's cremate it. Let's just burn up the whole thing. It's the only way we're going to get.
Is the character of Ernie the most gangsta of crematorium workers?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Ernie.
When out a gun, like,
yeah, he just got it on him. Around a bunch of dead people. What do you think's gonna happen? You think they're gonna come to life?
But, he was cracking me up.
Oh man, when Clue comes in to try and like softly broach the subject of we need you to do us this favor, and he's got that dead body who looks really dead because there's like all the bruising and there's tubes sticking in and out of him, and he's explaining all the stuff about rigor mortis and how you can break it free, and it's just so gross, but it's all very matter of fact.
Loosens up after a while, but you can break it out manually, as they say, by flexing the muscle.
Oh boy.
You know?
Right.
When he says it.
Right. Bert, what's in the bag? Rabid weasels. You want to burn them? He's like, that's cruel. Hey, look.
Cruel.
Look, let me just take them out in the back, shoot them in the head, and then we can burn them. Ernie's a G.
Yes, he is very much so. And so he helps them once he sees, they pull out the the arm that grabs his pant leg and rips it off. And through this, while they're loading it up into the crematorium, they're like, does it get rid of everything? Like the heart, we have to turn the heat up higher to make the heart go. What about the bones? We'll turn it up even higher. And then he's like, well, it'll just be a pile of ash. And they're like, we need to get rid of it too. Everything has to be destroyed.
I mean, nothing left.
Nothing but a little bitty pile of ashes.
Well, we don't even want the ashes, eh?
Then I'll turn it up higher, and we'll burn up the ashes too.
And I love that whole sequence that they do there of it. They're putting it in there and they roll it in, and then the cover, the shield comes down, and then we get that music again of all the smoke going up through the chimney, and then it starts raining.
Not good.
Not good at all. Not good at all. So all these toxins, the 2,4,5-trioxin is now raining down on this ancient, dilapidated cemetery.
And the chaos begins.
The chaos begins.
While at the same time, Frank and Freddie are slowly getting sick. Well, they're getting they've gotten infected because
they took a face full of that toxin.
Yeah. And not only was their acting over the top, but their sick acting was over the top.
Because they're like shaking and their lips are blue and their eyes they're just like freaking out. Because they're dying from the inside out, essentially.
And also the character of Tina, she was just like the embodiment of innocence.
Yes.
Sweet Sunday school girl.
Yes.
Kind of thing. It's funny because in the behind the scenes documentary, they were like, we casted you because it's you, basically.
That's you.
But yeah, everyone has their own personality. We have Casey, who just wants to party. We have Suicide, who's one of my favorites.
Yes.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Yeah, Suicide could not turn it down. You know,
he cannot.
11
all the way. You think this is a lifestyle? This is a lifestyle. You think this is a costume?
This is the way of life. Yeah, that guy is just fuck you, ballbuster. I mean, yeah. And there was one part of the movie where Trash was trying to get some suicide, and he was just
have some respect for the dead. Yes.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will you?
Because while all this is going on at the crematorium and all this stuff with Frank and Freddie on their adventures, the crew, the punk group of kids, are waiting for Freddie to get off work because Tina and Freddie are kind of dating.
Right.
And so they go there to hang out, but it's a couple hours before he gets off. So they decide to just go hang out in a cemetery. I mean, what else is there to do in Kentucky?
And get naked and strip and dance, But Miguel, who plays Spider, nobody could say the F word like him.
No.
What the fuck? Yeah, the way he says the F word is so funny.
Where the fuck you going? Help me by the door, stupid fuckers!
And it took me a while. It took me a while to put together that he is from, I can't remember which Friday the 13th movie
5.
it is. 5.
Yeah.
Damn enchiladas.
Yeah, it was 5. That's right. What was it? The ooh baby, or whatever song he was sitting on the toilet.
Yes.
Well, in the shitter,
Ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby.
Which is funny because another fun fact: Mark Venturini, who plays Suicide, he was the one that killed the guy in the beginning of the axe. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. I literally just found that out, which is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And then Tom Matthews.
Yeah.
Plays Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah, in 6.
Yeah, Jason Lives.
If you just go to the cemetery, you'll see I'm not lying.
Either you get some sleep, or I'm gonna come in there and put you out.
You're gonna be sorry you didn't listen to me.
A lot of Friday the 13th connections.
I know, right? I'm hoping his Never Hike Alone 2 project comes about. And I was extremely lucky, and I had the honor to have Tom Matthews on my podcast. This was
nice.
way back in the day. And I actually ran into him at CreepyCon earlier this year, and he was a really nice guy. And he said that, they're trying to get that Never Hike Alone. They're trying to get the Indiegogo going. So the sequels. So I hope that works out. But yeah, he's great in this film. He's perfect as Freddy.
He is. He's really good. He's just kind of that like all-American boy type of thing,
Mm-hmm. But
he's got the athletic, like the Letterman jacket on, but on the back it says "fuck you."
Yeah.
So he's got a little edge.
Yeah. enough edge that Tina can handle.
Yes.
But yeah, they go out there and they party at the cemetery. Starts raining, and the dead come back to life, and then that's when the chaos happens. And poor Quigley, Quigley really earned. I hope they gave her a little extra for the role.
She's naked in this entire movie.
Yeah, running in the rain.
Yeah.
Did she get pneumonia? Or
I'm not sure.
Got sick, or okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did, because that's a lot of cold rain for hours and having no clothes on whatsoever.
Yeah, she's a trooper. She's badass.
She is a trooper.
But her fantasy came true.
Bunch of old men to get around me and start fighting and eating me alive.
It did. And that leads me to talk about our punk group of kids, and that's how this whole movie, this is a punk rock zombie film, and it's very 80s. It's very nihilistic. It's very anti-authority. Send more cops. All that stuff. And when we're kind of meeting these guys as they're partying in the cemetery, getting a little bit of each of their personalities. They're all very not obsessive with death, but they're very like taken by it, and they talk about it, and the way they dress, is reflected in that, and their names, like the guy's name is Suicide, her name is Trash, it's extremely nihilistic. And then when the shit hits the fan, they realize what all that means, and so they're screaming and crying and running, and they have a very different perspective of death when all hell breaks loose in this movie.
Oh yeah. And Suicide gets it, man. Tarman shows up, brains. Takes a nice little chomp. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he does.
Did you notice the other zombies on the outside when they started to crowd and mob up and run after them when they're in the car and all that? I think they're yelling brains too.
Yes.
I think they're going brains.
and that's what this movie did. Because we were talking before, that first scene with the cadaver, how they talk about the rules in the movie. The movie lied. Night of the Living Dead lied to us.
Yeah.
And then when they get that torso woman strapped down, they start interrogating her, like, what do you want? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Then we get the whole thing about, we're in pain, we can feel ourselves rotting, and the only thing that is a comfort is human brains.
That's right. It makes the pain go away.
Go away. She says it's so funny. Go away.
It makes the pain go away.
It's too good. And the effects for it is so good. So charming.
Yes.
It's just so good. But it always makes me laugh. The cliche and trope will never not make me laugh. When you have these zombies or something's trying to get in the house movies.
Yes.
And they easily within 5 seconds just grab the furniture or something. They just go
throw it up.
tink, and that's it.
We're good.
Which would never happen in real life. But that will never not make me laugh, no matter what genre it is. Yeah, they board themselves up in there, whoever's left.
Yeah.
You know, they got to figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quickly a little bit. Let's talk about Jonathan Terry, who plays Colonel Glover, I believe.
Yes. I
don't know
love
how
that
many
character.
times ever since he said the line when he came home from one day, and he walks in the house, and his wife says, "Hi, dear, how was your day?" And he goes,
Usual crap.
Oh.
Ever since
It's so funny.
ever since he says that or said that in the movie, I've seen him say that in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I use it all the time. Like me and my buddies all the time. We use it. How was your day? Crap, the usual.
Crap, usual.
Oh, it's so funny.
No, and I love his performance because he's just all business all the time. He's very matter of fact and just very monotone. It's just like, I made lamb chops for dinner. I had lamb chops for lunch. And he walks away.
Crap.
Well, even when, everything, they've tried everything and they have no more option, they finally have to call the number on the side of the tank. And they wake him up in the middle of the night because it's obvious that this is his entire career, is trying to track these barrels down. Like he's got the whole setup in his game room parlor where there's like a bar and a pool table and everything. He's got this computer set up with a printer and a phone, and obviously tips are coming through that way. But they finally call the in case of emergency number, and they get connected to him, and he's just asking all these very clinical questions. They're like, yeah, you tried this? Well, what effect did that have? Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay, well, I'll transfer you back. Yeah, he's just all business. I love that scene.
What happened next? Uh-huh. Oh, you did? And what effect did that have? You see?
Oh, yeah. And before we get to the ending,
yes, there's still
a lot of people
about.
consider it a bummer. But we'll talk about if we thought it was a bummer. We'll talk about that. But were you sad to see Frank go, or was it oh, it's time, he's
Oh yeah, I like the way he went out.
Okay.
I like the way Frank went out because it's so over the top and dramatic. Like he takes his wedding ring off and kisses it and puts it down, and he crawls in and he pulls the thing shut, and it's got this very dramatic music, and then you hear him screaming as he's burned completely.
I love
that.
The long pause and then
Ah!
I'll be screaming already.
I mean, he knows what's up. He knows what's happening to him. He knows what his fate is, and he doesn't want to have to go through that. So I get it. But no, I like that scene a lot. It's very comical, even though how depressing it is.
Right. Yeah. Well said. But yeah, we had all kinds of different zombies destroying all kinds of cops and paramedics, and I remember the first time we seen the film, and they fuck up the paramedics.
Yes.
Send more paramedics, and then they fuck up the cops, send more cops. We were in tears.
So funny.
We were laughing so hard. Send more cops.
And that's another thing that's different about these zombies from Night of the Living Dead is these are not mindless lumbering zombies. I mean, we talked about how they're fast, but they think and speak and come up with plans, like getting more people to the scene. Strategy. The tar man sets up a winch to open up the locker that Tina's hiding in. So these are very, very different, a lot scarier zombies to me, because you can't just run away with them or trick them. They know what's going on and know how to get to you.
And well said. And I love how movies set you up where, all right, the most badass hardcore dude is like the first one to go.
Yes.
When suicide dies.
Because he's the biggest and he's the most aggressive, and he's like, I'll take care of this. Yeah. And the tar man just grabs his head and just goes, Arr!
That's it.
Bites a big old chunk out of it.
There goes bye to the alpha.
Yes.
But I was happy Spider we got Spider with us a lot longer because Miguel was just so good in the role. But I love that scene when the paramedics first get there
Oh, fuck, yes.
And they're freaking out. They're all confused because they're checking on Frank and Freddie, and they're like, "Wait, this," and they're all like, "What's going on?" And they're all like, "Well, go ahead. I'll have you explain it."
Oh yeah, well, because the first sign we get is the one paramedic says to the other, let me use your stethoscope. Mine's broken. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't get a heartbeat. They're not getting a heartbeat. They're not getting a blood pressure. Their room temperature, when they try to take their temperature, they're like 70 degrees. And so they kind of walk away and they're like kind of talking. And finally, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're dead.
You saying we're dead?
Well, let's not jump to
Are you saying we're dead?
Look, obviously I didn't mean you were really dead. Dead people don't move around and talk.
You're sitting here talking and stuff, but you're dead. It reminds me of that scene in Death Becomes Her, after he pushes her down the stairs and is it Sidney Pollack, or I can't remember who plays the doctor. He's just hilarious.
Your body temperature's below 80, and your heart stopped beating. What the hell does that mean? Exactly what. I think I'm gonna get a second opinion. Doctor.
Yeah.
He freaks out so much he has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just too funny. It's too
Death
funny.
Becomes Her is one of the most underrated movies.
It's a horror movie. It's so good.
It's so underrated. Great visuals on that. Maybe it'll be a future episode. We'll see.
Oh yes, definitely. No, a great movie.
Ernest, you pushed me down the stairs.
But yeah, just chaos. Now it's spreading into the city.
Mm-hmm.
The police, they kind of set up this barrier that gets
because they don't know what they're dealing with either.
Yeah.
They just know that a bunch of their people are going in and not coming out.
Yeah. And Bert, him and Spider get in the car and they're trying to get to Ernie and Tina, but they got blocked off by the mob of zombies, so they left. And Tina's like, he left us. And then he'll be back, so, Ernie. But yeah, Freddie turns completely.
One thing that can leave this world suffering.
What, Freddie? What?
Live.
And yeah, because he's even taunting her, because I mean he retains the memories of when he was alive, and I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah. Tina, I can smell your brains.
Play off this one, Tina. But I don't care, darling, because I love you. And you've got to let me eat your brains.
It's so good. Yeah, because the first time I saw it, I only saw that last sequence after Freddie turns.
Oh, okay.
And so the next time I came across it, I tried to catch it earlier, and I came in about halfway through when the zombies start coming alive. But no, the first little part of this movie I saw was Freddie stalking around with his acid burnt face and stuff like that.
Yeah. But just everything just works.
It does.
Great practical effects. Cinematography's good, well directed, well acted for the type of movie they're making.
Yes.
Well paced.
Very well paced.
Boring moments. Great soundtrack. I mean, everything. Everything is a very simplistic plot, but that's perfect for this kind of movie.
Oh yeah. You don't want to complicate
and you get the, like you said, the extra meta points, bonuses we get in the film. I mean, it fires all shots.
Oh yeah.
But does it nail the ending? Were you bummed at first? I'm gonna be honest, I was completely fine.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I was like, oh shit, it's gonna keep going. It's just gonna keep going.
Right.
There's no stopping this.
No, I'm talking about the ending, like when they get bombed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm like, because then the rain starts to come down, and
right.
I mean, again, this is a very nihilistic film. I mean, that permeates the whole thing, and that's very, very 80s. And it's kind of a counter to all the especially in the 80s, we had all this very pro-military, pro-America stuff pumped into our action movies and things like that. But we're still in the midst, it's towards the end of the Cold War. So there's still the nuclear stuff going on. And I love when they're talking about the chemical company that came up with the 245 tracks. And it's Darrow Chemical Company, which is very close to Dow Chemical Company that made Agent Orange. So I mean, there's a lot of little stuff in there, and just the anti-authority stuff is it's subtle, but it's definitely there. Definitely there.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I've heard some people say, "Oh, that ending ruined the entire film for me. I can never watch it again." I'm like, are you serious? I figured at that point there was no other option.
Yeah, there is no other option. What are you gonna do?
Freddie gets up in the attic. He's getting ready to get Tina and Ernie.
Yep.
That's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, they've broken through the perimeter. No one is on their way to save them. And I wonder if the military would have had the same counter reaction if they'd have called the number right away. But because he's asking them questions, he's like, how many affected? Did this work? Did that work? No. So I mean, he got the level of the threat before he called in the strike. Yeah, it's like, this is we're fucked contingency plan. Let's just nuke it. Let's just nuke it.
Yeah, nuke it, and that's perfect. And then like you said, it continues. It gets even bigger. But yeah, this is an absolute classic. I love it. If I was going to review it, I'd give it an A+.
Oh, me too.
It's so rewatchable, requotable. You watch this with a crowd. It's a crowd, everyone's gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah.
And and definitely for those of you who I could speak in the English. Let's just rewind that. So for those of you that are watching this right now, make sure you guys also check out the documentary.
Yes,
because there's so much behind the scenes story that
there's a lot
stories that we haven't mentioned yet. But I think one of my favorites, which has made me a James Karen fan for life. Not just for this role, but they interview him, and in one of the interviews on that documentary, they ask him, they go, "So, was there any dirt or any anything you could tell us?" And then James Karen goes serious. "Oh, I slept with everybody, everybody," and me and my wife were in tears. We were laughing. That's it. James Karen fans for life.
Oh my God, that's so funny. No, he did such a good performance in this. They all did. It's just perfect that way.
What did you think of the spiritual sequel? Because it wasn't really a sequel, but it was kind of a spiritual sequel.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't remember a lot about it. So I can't really put forth an opinion on it because it's been so long since I've seen it.
I remember it it's still fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can have fun with it. It just pales in comparison.
Oh yeah.
But they did bring back the line. They brought back the line. "Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job." Like this job. They did. Even though they're different characters, they had to bring the classic line back because this film is a classic. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think even apart from expanding, the zombie lore and mythology that this film did, it did a good job right away of showing the audience, okay, yes, Night of the Living Dead exists, but this is something different. We're saying we're not doing a Romero zombie film. We're going to pay homage to that, but this is something completely different. And I think the way they did that with all the meta stuff it made it work just perfectly. Sets the tone and lets you know what kind of movie you're in for.
Smashing. We highly recommend.
We highly recommend. Yes. And the reason I wanted to talk about this movie is because this is one of my favorite movies to pop on around Halloween, because it's just a fun vibe, and there's it's spooky and gross and gory, but you still get these great fun over the top characters and performances. And so I just want to talk about it around Halloween season.
Yeah, perfect choice, perfect movie. And this is also a great movie to recommend to people who are not horror fans.
Yes.
People who are not really zombie movie fans. This is perfect. This is a great gateway
Yes.
movie. But yeah, this was a blast, as always. Being here talking about movies we love, Lindsay.
Oh yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on my channel again. Where can everyone find you?
That Fat Samurai Guy. That's all you need to type up. Nobody else has this stupid name. Instagram is.
Yes.
YouTube is. The Twitters, all that stuff. Facebookies. Go ahead and follow me over there. Martial arts, action, and horror. That's the trinity right there.
Oh yes.
That's what the channel represents. And once in a while we'll dip into some things outside of the box, but that's the three main things we discuss on the channel. And three things Lindsay's a fan of as well.
Oh yes,
That's
definitely.
right. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's right.
Well, like I said, thank you so much for coming on here and talking with me about Return of the Living Dead. And thank everyone out there for tuning in. I hope you all have a happy Halloween and a fun spooky season.
Not a bad question, Bert.
Oh no.